You know, they call them the forgotten generation, but Gen X is now staring retirement right in the face. So where are they going to go? Today, we're going to dig into this really interesting gap between where they dream of retiring versus where the cold, hard data says they might actually do best. I mean, it feels like just yesterday they were the cynical teams in all those 90s movies, right? But believe it or not, the oldest Gen Xers are hitting 59. So retirement, it's not some far-off idea anymore. For a lot of them, it is literally right around the corner. And that makes the question, okay, what's next, a whole lot more urgent. And get this, a huge chunk of them are looking for a total change of scenery. A recent survey found that a pretty staggering 39% are planning to pack their bags and move somewhere new for retirement. Think about that. That is millions of people, all staring at a map, asking themselves the exact same question. Where is the best place for me to spend this next big chapter of my life? Okay, so let's start right there. Before we dive into all the spreadsheets and number crunching, let's talk about the dream. You know, if you just ask Gen X, where do you want to live out your retirement? What's the answer? Well, it turns out a recent survey of Americans aged 45 and up found a really clear preference for one specific part of the country. Yeah, look at this. A full of 42%, that's a huge number, of people surveyed said they want to retire in a southern state. That is more than double the folks who picked the West. The Midwest, the Northeast, not even close. The dream of retiring down south is absolutely real. And when we zoom in specifically on the Gen X age group, that preference gets even sharper. Check it out. Florida isn't just the number one choice, it is a complete runaway favorite. We're talking over 27% of the vote. Sure, the Carolinas and Tennessee get some love, but Florida is without a doubt the king when it comes to retirement dreams. All right, so we've established the dream. It's sunny, it's southern, and it's probably in Florida. But you know, personal preference. That's only half the story, isn't it? What happens when we take all the emotion out of it and just look at the cold, hard numbers? Things like affordability, safety, quality of life? Well, to figure that out, we're going to look at a really deep analysis of 170 different cities. This study completely ignored the dream factor and focused only on concrete data to find the absolute best places for Gen X to retire. And the way they did this is super important. This isn't about, sunny beaches or the best golf courses. It's about stuff you can actually measure. What's the cost of living? How safe is it? What's the healthcare situation? And here's a big one. Are there already a lot of other Gen Xers there? So after crunching all that data, the city that landed at number one, it's not in Florida, it's not in the Carolinas, it's not in Tennessee. In fact, I'm willing to bet it's probably not what you're expecting at all. The number one data-driven city for Gen X retirees is Frisco, Texas. And these numbers, they tell a really powerful story. Yeah, okay, the median home value is up there, no doubt. But look at the median income for Gen X households there. A massive $184,000. This is a place where this generation is absolutely thriving financially. Okay, now let's pull back and look at the whole top 10 list. You see Frisco at number 1, Cary, North Carolina pops up at number 2. But then, wait a minute, do you see the pattern here? It's kind of amazing. A stunning 8 of the top 10 cities are all clustered in just 2 states. So this is the big question, right? We have to understand why. Why is this list so completely dominated by suburbs in Texas and Arizona? What's the secret sauce these places have? First up, let's look at the Texas crew. We've got 4 cities in the top 10, and guess what? They're all suburbs of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. What that tells you is this is a region with a booming corporate scene, a super strong job market. It's creating these high-paying opportunities that are letting Gen X build some serious wealth before they even think about retiring. And you know what? It is the exact same story over in Arizona. 4 cities, and they're all clustered around the Phoenix metro area. This shows that Arizona isn't just your grandma's retirement spot anymore. It's become this economically vibrant suburban hub that's pulling in big businesses and, you guessed it, a high-earning workforce, including a lot of Gen Xers. But here's what's cool. Even inside these hubs, you've got options. This chart right here shows the huge range in home prices just within those top-ranked Arizona cities. You've got the super high-end appeal of a place like Scottsdale, sure, but you've also got more moderate options like Peoria. It suggests there are different financial doors you can walk through to get into this high quality of life zone. And this really sums it up perfectly. It shows the two different but equally successful retirement models we're seeing. On one side, you've got Frisco, Texas. That's the high-income, high-cost model. Then on the other, you have Cape Coral, Florida, which is a much more traditional, affordable path to retirement. The key thing? They're both in the top 10. It proves there isn't just one single right way to do this. So the big question is, how do we bring these two worlds together? We've got this dream of retiring somewhere in the South, right? But then we have the data pointing us to these very specific, economically powerful suburbs in Texas and Arizona. And this right here is really the main takeaway. Remember how Florida was the #1 dream state? Well, only one of its cities, Cape Coral, even cracked the data-driven top 10. That reveals this massive gap between what we feel makes a great retirement spot and what the numbers actually show us. Ultimately, it really just boils down to this quote from one of the sources. It says that this one decision, where to live, can greatly affect both quality of life and living costs. And that's it, right? It's that classic tug of war between what feels right in your heart and what the spreadsheet shows is financially smart. So how can you use this for yourself? Well, think of it like a simple 3-step plan. Step 1, define your dream. What do you really want your lifestyle to look like? Step 2, analyze the data. What can you actually afford? And step 3, the magic happens where those two circles overlap. That's the sweet spot. That's your personal #1. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When it comes to your own retirement, what's going to matter more? The pull of that dream location you've always had in your mind, or the clear, practical reality of the data?